it rolling. I anticipate this will be highly edited anyway. So. Whoa.
Hey, I already told you editing. It takes a lot to edit, and I already
This changes everything. I had no idea. All right.
Okay, welcome. This is our first episode of our podcast. This is How to Be a Texan. This idea generated a while back because Kevin and I were shooting the bull.
At a high school football game,
Yeah.
which is a very Texan thing to do on a Friday night.
Yeah, and so he, of course, immediately made fun of this idea, which probably is a stupid idea. Nobody will listen to it, but if you do, here you go.
But if we get it on tape, then I can make fun of it for many years to come.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, the whole point is we're proud to be Texans. We've been Texans all my life and all Kevin's life, and we're here to talk about why it's kind of a cool thing to be a Texan. So we thought we'd start off with just who is this to, and the kind of the point of what we're going to try to do here. Generally, these are going to be relatively short. When I listen to podcasts, it's hard for me to go more than 30 minutes. So Kevin and I are going to commit to try to keep it for the short attention span folks that can go up to 30 minutes. And
We both have ADD.
Yes, thank you.
So
yeah, we'll keep it short, and one of my 14-year-old twins was asking me, and by the way, Kevin has 14-year-old twins too.
15.
They are already?
In December, as of December.
Time flies.
I know it.
So we both have twins. He has girls, I have boys. And one of my boys asked just a little while ago, he's like, Dad, what are you doing? Who is this even for? Who's going to listen to this? And I'm like, probably nobody, you know? So, but anyway, the target audience, I would think, is for people that are kind of looking into Texas and thinking, man, that is a freaky deal. Why does anybody want to be a Texan? And for our brothers and sisters in arms here in Texas that just listen and probably are laughing at us, saying you're wrong. That's not the reason why I want to be a Texan. So,
And we'll have them on to debate.
Yeah.
Every point.
God, I hope not. I really
We'll turn
hope
it to a brawl.
Yeah, I really hope not. But anyway, there are a lot of unique nuances for why Texas people are proud to call Texas home. So this is not educational. This is not.
You will get no education whatsoever from this podcast.
This is simply for fun.
Simply to kill brain cells when you got nothing else to do.
Yeah. This beats playing Xbox or something. So that's what we're doing, or Snapchatting or whatever. So there are probably a couple of things that Kevin and I will be a little leery of, and that's generally we will avoid staunch opinions on politics or religion. We may weigh in a little bit on some of those things, but generally we'll not. So anyway, Kevin, let me let you introduce yourself, and then we'll get into it.
My name's Kevin Holder, native Texan, lived in Texas my whole life. Happy to be on your podcast, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
It's not mine, son. Yeah, I can call him son because I'm all of 2 years older than him. Kyle Kirkpatrick here, born and raised in Texas, up in North Texas, happily married for 19 years and 3 kids, and all high schoolers, teenagers. Very, very fun to track down. What about you and your family?
Married 25 years, 4 kids. Oldest is 21. My younger son is 19, and then the girls, as we talked about, are 15.
We're sitting there staring at your elder
Yep.
son. He's a fine piece of work.
He's a professional podcast producer extraordinaire.
He is extraordinary. So the question is, will Kevin and I have guests? And I think the answer is yes. We'll have.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do too, because it'll probably get pretty boring just listening to us. So the question is, how long have you lived in Texas?
47 years.
Yeah, 48.
Yep. I was born in San Angelo, Texas.
Okay.
And moved 22 times growing up. So I've lived in a lot of places, but for the most part in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area.
Man, I was just in San Angelo the other day for a funeral. beautiful town.
It's a great place to have a funeral.
Well, it was
Maybe
actually.
I'll have mine there.
Well.
Born there and die there.
See you on the other side.
We left San Angelo when I was 3 months old, and I've never been back.
Fond memories,
So,
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll just spread my ashes out.
All right, well, we're keeping that in mind. All right, so I think we're going to just play around with some future topics. But today, Kevin and I just wanted to kind of think through a few myths. So as we were looking, there were a few articles that were written, one in the New York Times, one in the Washington Post, and then there was this random guy that wrote an article that I thought was really, really good
Some
about
random guy.
Sorry, random guy, if I'm going to offend you. But it was really good. And so there were a lot of myths there, and I thought Kevin and I would just kind of dance around some of these myths and tell you kind of our opinions on what we think, what we've grown up to believe. Let me just start it off with, there are a few from this, I think it was a Washington Post article.
The 5 myths
Yeah.
5 myths about Texas.
Yeah.
Washington Post. Okay.
Yeah. So why don't you start off with kind of myth number 1, or maybe overview kind of what he's talking about here.
Well, this was written, the one I have was written by Erica Greiter,
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
columnist at the Houston Chronicle, and also the author of Big, Hot, Cheap, and Right, What America Can Learn from the Strange Genius of Texas. So anyway, I think she probably knows her stuff pretty well.
Yeah.
So myth number 1, Texans love guns. Is that a myth?
I don't think so. No, I think Texans love their guns. So she gives a lot of data on that about gun control and ownership, and how the data is very weak on really understanding where the guns actually reside. But I think for the most part, Texans are a bunch of hunters, and for the most part, I do think there's a lot of love for guns.
But I think one thing that is a myth, and I run into this, and I'm sure you do too, Kyle, in your travels, is that not so much that Texans love guns, but just that Texans have guns with them
Yes.
24/7. You got a gun rack in your pickup truck. You got side shooter on all the time, ready to draw.
Yeah.
That's the kind of reaction I get when people find out I'm from Texas. They're like, oh, yeah, so you got a gun.
Yeah,
Yeah? Well, you carry it in your pickup truck? Well, sometimes.
Are you packing right now?
Are you packing right now? I get that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that a
So
lot.
I think that's more of the myth than just people loving guns. It's just that you're always armed. You're always carrying. You're always ready for a shootout. That's
So I think one of the funny things I was thinking about is we were visiting about this idea, is more of, because you and I both travel for work. You in the IT industry, me in the healthcare industry, and there's a lot of funny misperceptions about Texans. For example, when I would do my consulting and I'd go up north, people generally get a kick out of our accent. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I actually had a partner. I worked for one of the big accounting firms doing healthcare consulting, and I had a partner, and this guy was younger than me. How scary is this? But anyway, he was a Chicago guy, and I actually came to really like him. And he looked at me right before we were about to go into a client meeting, and he said, do you actually think as slow as you talk? Because you sound really stupid.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I'm dead serious. He said that, and then I went in and I spoke to the client. It was great. But at the end of the day, he ended up he and I became friends, and we liked each other. But I think because I talked much slower than he did, it was
Just say I'm talking slow so you can understand.
Let me break this down into smaller words. So, but no, I probably am as stupid as I sound, but anyway, I do think that's a perception. So, like my wife Amy and I, we love going up to New York. That's one of our favorite places to go on the planet. And so, I do notice myself having to kind of pick up my cadence of speech when I get to New York.
Yeah.
They just don't have the patience for me. They're like, dude, order your coffee, order your donut, whatever, and move along.
They don't want to hear how your morning's going.
Yeah, how y'all doing up there? They don't. How's your mama? No, none of that. Just order the donut, sir, and step away.
Did you see that taxi cab almost
Yeah,
run over that guy? This happens every day. Move along, sir.
What are all these police officers doing up here? These buildings are high.
People are surprised in my industry that really haven't spent much time in Texas, just how much technical talent there is, especially in Dallas. People kind of think of Austin as being a technical, technology center. They don't think about Dallas.
Yeah.
And so several years ago, I was working, doing some projects up on Wall Street, actually. And those guys thought they were so much smarter than the rest of us. And they really weren't, right? Because they were bringing us in to solve all the problems. So I was coming in. I was kind of the lead on it. And then we kept bringing in these other guys from like the Dallas area, flying them up to New York to fix all their problems. And one of the guys got pretty angry. He was like, "Why do you have to fly people in from Texas all the time? Why don't you have people up here in New York? People in New York are a lot smarter than people, from down south." And I was like, "Well, obviously not." You called me. I didn't call you.
Well, I do think.
But yeah, there's a little bit of an attitude.
Oh yeah, no, there is, and I think once we spend some time together, we get over that.
Yeah.
But that Texas drawl, I hate to say I can't help it, but it's hard to help. But that's another thing that I think is attractive about being a Texan in general is just coming to Texas. There's a lot of industry opportunities. Why? So if you're listening to this, why would you be intrigued about coming to the state of Texas? Well, the tax rates are low. There's tons of jobs. Now, would you come here for the view? No, you go to California, you go to the mountains, you go to the coast. No, you don't come here for the view. You come here for commerce, for family, to raise your kids, and generally good schools, and the tax structure is generally low. So, any of the big cities in Texas, I think they're on some of the top. And there's a reason for that. They're on the top kind of job growth and overall GDP growth for anywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. Those four big mega markets are top of the list. Another myth is Texas is part of the Bible Belt, as part of this article that you mentioned. And so I was thinking about that too. Yes, there's a big Christian faith and sect down here in Texas, but it's it's welcome. I know plenty of people that are Islam and Mormons.
The Bible Belt thing.
That's
definitely true. There's no doubt. I mean, when you travel to California, especially California, I notice a big difference. Well, if you're in the cities,
right?
If you're in San Francisco or the major cities. When you get out of the major cities, though, it's pretty Christian out there as well. So
right,
yeah,
right.
But yeah, I would agree with that one. I don't think that's a myth. I think Texas is definitely square in the Bible Belt.
Right.
It's the big old Texas belt buckle of the Bible Belt.
Okay, another myth. Another myth that one of these articles refers to is Texas depends on oil, and this article actually calls that a myth and cites why it is a myth that the Texas economy really has blossomed away from just oil and gas, even though it's a huge part of, especially if you live down in Houston or along the coast, it's a big part of it. But I mean, you're part of the tech industry. I'm part of healthcare. There's a big services industry, education, civil government, all the other. So I think there's, the business landscape is wide open.
Do you think Houston is still heavily dependent on oil?
I think so, but
yeah,
I think it's
but when you get outside of Houston, I mean, Dallas is,
yeah,
technology, fashion. Austin is definitely technology industry.
Yeah, I'm big into fashion.
I know it. Healthcare fashion, right?
Yeah.
You designed those little scrubs and the gowns that have no back on them. You designed that thing, didn't you?
Yeah. As it's 20 degrees outside and I'm wearing shorts and a Old Navy piece of crap sweatshirt. I'm very fashionable. Okay, so anyway, some more of these myths. So one guy, this random guy who at some point we need to acknowledge, but anyway, he says, everyone listens to country music, the only country music, and that is, it's obviously not the
Is
case.
this the New York Times article?
No, this
Which
is
one
that
this?
Odyssey guy. This is the Odyssey online.
Oh,
guy.
Odyssey.
That guy was good.
It's a great picture.
Yeah, so, I mean, first of all, does everybody wear, a red bandana, handkerchief around their neck, and a curled up Tim McGraw cowboy hat, And the answer, I think, is no. Most people I see don't wear a fancy cowboy hat and a red handkerchief like Festus on Gunsmoke.
No.
No, I don't. I mean, we're not wearing one right now,
No.
right? I don't. No.
I wear a black hat and a black handkerchief.
Like Johnny Cash?
Johnny Cash. Drive a black truck.
Well, you do have a black truck. So not everybody listens to country music. I think you guys, you're a musical family. Y'all don't just roll out to Tim McGraw all the time, right?
No.
Nothing against you, Tim McGraw, if you're
No.
listening. So.
No. Shout out to Tim McGraw.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone has a farm and rides horses. So this guy says that's a myth. What do you think?
Well, I don't think everyone does, but you and I both do.
Well, yeah.
So maybe we're playing into the stereotype. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I mean, millions of people live in Houston.
Right.
Another few million live in Dallas.
Right.
No farming going on.
All right, well, maybe this is a good segue. Why don't you tell us about your home situation? And you said you have a horse or whatever. And tell us about that.
I've got 2 horses.
Wow.
One for each twin girl.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a couple of 2.5 acres in Argyle that we bought about 5 years ago, and we turned it into a small horse property. So we put a barn on it. We put up, good fencing for horses, put a shed out there. Mm. We had one horse when we moved here, but we knew we were going to be, getting another one with 2 girls riding. And so we decided to just set up the place. So it's been a lot of fun getting it up and running. And I love going out there. I love being able to just sit out by the pool and, see the horses out there grazing. It's a lot of fun. Or just go out there and ride a horse if you want to.
Yeah, and they're sweet horses. So he's got 2 horses, Doc and Pumpkin, and they're sweet horses.
Yep, they are.
So likewise, we moved out here just before Kevin and Kendra moved out, and we got a 5-acre place, and my daughter has ridden. She's 16, junior in high school, and she's been on riding horses since she was 4, and so we moved out so that we could have our horse Elvis, who's now 30, and my gosh, he's got to go at some point. Horses generally live to be about 30, and then they die. It's going to be a sad day when he goes, but he is a super, super great horse. When people say you're on a bomb-proof horse, he's it.
Elvis is bomb-proof.
Yeah, so that means you can't rattle him at all. And so we put. It's such a sweet thing to see, special needs kids or emotionally disturbed kids or whatever. You can put anybody on that horse, and it's wonderful to see how empowering just riding a horse and controlling a 1,200-pound animal can give you that sense of security. It's a beautiful thing to see. So anyway,
did you see his statement about halfway down?
Huh?
I'm terrified of horses, and you couldn't pay me $5,980,088 to get on one of those oversized Satan donkeys. Pretty strong opinion.
That's strong. And I tell you what, I rode one that I agree was a full
Satan donkey.
Yeah, you remember that one time that I tried to ride it twice and it bucked me both times?
Which one was that?
That one that we
Which time was that?
With the one that we bought and gave away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It was a Satan donkey. And I got my twins out there with me, and I'm like, boys, hang on to it. Oh, my gosh. I've never hurt that bad in my life.
Satan
but anyway.
Donkey.
Yeah, so we've got 5 acres. Then my neighbor shares our animals with us, and we get to graze on his 4 acres too. So we've got now, we're up to 4 horses, 2 mini donkeys, 2 cows, 9 chickens. We adopted a chicken the other day. It just kind of walked in, which was random.
It may be one of ours.
Literally.
It probably is one of ours.
It just walked over, and then we threw it in there, and Amy and I are hoping it's not a rooster because I can't tell. I don't know.
Rooster's fine. He'll
Well,
protect the flock.
I guess, but the hens just beat the crap out of it all the time right now. So anyway, and we just had these 2 cows that we have, they just both had bull calves like in the last week. So that means a baby cow, so it's either, you can't really call it a heifer calf, but anyway, a boy calf is called a bull calf for all this. You don't know that, and I didn't know that either, but because I'm not a real cow guy.
When are you going to castrate them?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I guess you do that. You're supposed to make them into steers so they grow bigger and give you more meat,
Unless you want bulls.
and then you eat them, or you sell them to proliferate.
You eat them. Sounds like a simple process.
Yeah, so we're planning on selling them for meat. So if you have any ideas on bull calf castration, that is good, good clean fun.
I'll give you
right
some
there.
ideas.
Oh, that's great.
That's the title of this episode.
Bull calf castration. It's a good title.
Yeah. So yeah. Then I also took up beekeeping a few years ago, and so I'm a beekeeper, and so we got chickens and horses and cows. So it is a full Renaissance experience over at my place. So
We are in between chicken flocks right now.
yeah, we need to
We
load
had
you-
our first generation.
yeah, we need to load you guys back up again.
Yeah,
So
we'll see.
I'm excited about that. So anyway, that's a little bit about our places. A lot of animal farm activity, and these animals just create so much poop. So
Poop's good, man.
I guess, but anyway, okay. So back to the myths. This guy talks about y'all equaling stupidity. I don't know about that.
I've seen this being used. Well, first, I don't know if this came about in Texas anyway. I mean, they say this all over the South.
Yeah, they do. They claim it's a Texas term.
Do they?
Yeah, and
Just
funny,
to try to make it cool.
well, and my sister's been out in Northern California for 25 years, and she still, when she comes back, she rolls right into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's immediately yawing it here and there.
I've seen people using this in emails and stuff. People that aren't even Texan.
Oh,
I've
yeah?
never been to Texas. I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
them typing y'all into an email.
Yeah, I like the distinction that if you use it correctly at 10 or less, it's y'all, but if it's more than 10, it's all y'all.
Oh, I've never heard that.
That was supposed to be funny, but sorry.
Oh, okay. Cue laughter.
Yeah. Give me the fake Seinfeld.
Cue the
laughter
laugh
on
track.
That one. Yeah. The other one is everybody drives a pickup truck. Is that a myth or reality?
I don't think everyone does, but I see a lot more trucks here than I do in some places,
I do too.
for sure.
I have one. You have one.
I got one.
My first car was a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew's first car was a truck. So
Yeah.
yeah.
He handed it down to Aaron.
And
Aaron
smashed
totaled
the
it.
crap out of it.
Aaron destroyed it. Sorry. That's Kevin's younger son. So yeah, so there's a lot of trucks here, and there's no problem. There's no problem with trucks. And then the whole idea about, do we want to secede? What do you think about that, Kevin?
Some days I do, some days I don't. No, people ain't going to secede.
No.
Give me a break.
No. I am curious, though. Why do we have everybody's required to take Texas history? Why is that?
Because we got a lot of cool history.
Yeah, we do.
Some states don't.
Yeah, so we need to get into that someday of all
Yeah.
the history, but not to bore you to tears with Santa Ana and all that kind of stuff.
Santa Ana.
But so there's a lot of cool histories. All of our kids, my gosh, I've gone through it 3 times now with all the kids. Texas history,
Yeah.
learning that. And of course, I did it, and you did it.
Yep.
You do that before you take American history. So,
Of course.
I mean, anyway,
Texas before America.
well. So, do we all want to secede? No. No. I certainly don't believe so. And then, what about this? What about our main diet consists of barbecue and Mexican food?
I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, more so than Mexican food now, but
Yeah, no, I
barbecue and Mexican food has pretty much been my diet for
I could
most of my
absolutely.
life.
If you could add Twinkies and Ding Dongs to the third part of that, then sign me up for that and Diet Cokes
Twinkies and ding dongs.
and Doritos. Other than that, yeah.
Oh, this guy says he's a vegetarian.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, there
First
you go.
off, I'm a vegetarian. I haven't had a burger, much less some brisket, since the summer of 2011.
Yeah.
Huh.
Huh. I'll be darned.
Well, someday we'll talk about my dietary habits on this podcast.
It
but
is an ongoing
I
saga.
don't want to play that card just yet.
Yeah, no, let's do that because it's enlightening. That's sarcasm.
We'll talk about my dietary habits and your bathroom habits.
Oh, gosh. We'll be here a while.
That'll be a double episode.
Yeah, we'll be here a while. Okay, so then
Whatever goes out.
that's right. So then let's hit this as the last one and then wrap it up because people are probably sick of hearing us by now. Everyone has an obsession with football. Is that truth or myth?
Every man probably does.
Yeah.
Some of the women do. Some of the women folk do. I don't know that everyone does, but I think where it differs is high school football, huge here, bigger than in most states. Although states like Pennsylvania
Yeah.
can rival us on high school football
Oh yeah.
sometimes, but
Oh no, it's
much bigger at the high school level. And then, of course, you got the epic, college, A&M and UT and
right.
all that. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Sometimes Houston has a team. I think they got a team right now,
They
Houston
do.
Texans.
I
But
got a bunch of buddies that are big Texans fans.
yeah,
So, yeah, so I could not agree more with this one. Everybody has an obsession with football. Now I agree, not as many women, but I think it is cultish.
Yeah.
Our,
but there are some places that are so cultish. I mean, it's everywhere. Like if you go to Columbus, Ohio, you talk
Yeah.
about a football cult.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Ohio State,
No.
that's much more cultish.
That's right.
You go to Nebraska, all they got is the Cornhuskers.
Right.
Arkansas, Razorbacks. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, just think about it. You and I were at a football game when we were talking about this idea. Mm-hmm. Our entire little small town in North Texas goes out to these football games every Friday night and anxiously waits for the next Friday night, and then is horribly disappointed if we ever get beat in the playoffs. And anyway, you know my famous 3 words that I keep asking my twins to tell me, right?
What's that?
The 3 magic words are I quit football.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, anyway, my wife Amy's taught me out of that. But I told them I'd buy them a bass boat or golf clubs or tennis, whatever, if they'll just quit football. Because it's just, a recipe for more concussions and broken limbs and all that. But regardless, my wife, she's
That's
like,
what's wrong with the two of us. We both played football.
well, yeah. we
Not
did.
all the wheels are turning.
No, I got some screws loose up there. And my wife is always a lot smarter than me, and she said, well, Kyle, just to be honest with you, it is a good thing for them to play football because they'd just be big mush mouths if playing video games all the time. The coaches at least keep them in shape, right?
Mush mouths.
Just playing video games all the time, just whatever, texting. Anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, football is definitely a big deal in Texas. So, okay. So I think that's probably enough. I think that's something we can revisit.
Wait, there's 2. There's 2 more.
What? Oh, okay. All right.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
All right.
I like, and this is from the article. This is not my quote, but it says, if by this you mean the average woman's rear end and hair, then yes.
Oh, my. I wasn't going to go there.
This guy wrote it.
I typically don't talk about women's.
Rear ends.
Uh-uh.
That wasn't on the list of topics that we couldn't discuss.
Yeah, it's fine.
On your
It's
outline.
fine. It's fine. And then 80s hair. I mean, yeah, everybody had giant hair in the 80s.
80s, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh,
But
yeah.
now it's not that big.
not that
Seems
big.
pretty tame now.
Yeah. One thing that's not on here, that is a Texas thing only, is the homecoming mom.
Oh, no, that's
The
ridiculous.
homecoming mom.
Yeah.
And I was in California a few months ago, right before our homecoming. I was talking to a buddy, in the office, so some people overheard, and they're like, what are we talking about this mom? And I said, well, it's big in Texas. I don't know if it's that big everywhere else. And one of the other ladies in the office started doing some Googling, and she found an article that said, no, this is only a Texas thing.
Oh my
only in
gosh.
Texas do they do that.
That's embarrassing.
I didn't realize that.
No, it's embarrassing.
That
'cause
is
they-
over the top.
Yeah, they basically have to get like a horse halter to
Yeah.
put over their neck and around their back to hold up this ridiculous. I mean, Lord knows how much it weighs.
Those were huge in the 80s when we were kids,
Yeah.
but now they're like 5 times as big as
You remember
were
they
back
used to
then.
be like a single mom, and then no, we got to do a double, and then a
Yeah.
triple mom that would go over the shoulder.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous. And then you got these long streamers and cowbells, and now they're all lit up with LED lights. And
Just wait, Andrew, till your child is doing the mum thing. There's no telling. They'll be draping themselves in mums.
yeah, that's embarrassing. That's just
A suit they put on.
yeah. No, it's like Iron Man suit. You know,
Yeah.
you just it's ridiculous. So I couldn't agree more.
So that is one thing that's definitely bigger in Texas and
Yeah.
only a Texas thing. Everyone is over the top about how fantastic Texas is, and he says that's a truth.
Yeah,
And then he says, yes, duh, because it is. So I agree with that one.
yeah. I've been here and don't plan on leaving. So I couldn't agree more as well. So okay, any final thoughts?
I don't know. What'd you think about this first little episode that we did here?
Train wreck, but
Train wreck?
Otherwise, it was fantastic.
It was a Texas-sized train wreck.
Yeah. So I would say our buddy Andrew's probably going to figure out how to do social media and all that, but with how to get us ideas. But regardless, it would be great to hear your ideas, whether you're a fellow Texan and you're thinking of all these fantastic ideas, how to go off on and discuss. And if you need to be a guest, then feel free, except Kevin and I are going to be completely uncomfortable with you talking. We'll have to get used to you first.
Do that thing where you BS for about 5 more minutes,
Yeah,
Kyle.
do that thing again, will you?
All right, so I think this was a good conversation. So I appreciate everybody listening, and would love to hear ideas on future episodes and future discussions from you. So as you do that, there is a way to give us feedback and ideas, and that's go into your podcast app and give us a review, and then we'll be able to get your feedback that way.
Give us a positive review. If it's negative, you're going to get your ass kicked. We're a couple of Texans.
Potty mouth.
We're Texans, and we're always armed and dangerous. Nah, just kidding. We want to hear all your feedback.
Yeah, just give us some feedback. So, all right, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking.
Yeehaw!